Welcome to the Guard Your Heart Show, the podcast that aims to uplift your spirit and guide you on a journey of faith and well-being. I am your host, Mercy, and I'm thrilled to have you with me today. In our last episode, we talked about setting our financial goals for 2024. I hope you learned a thing or two and were able to set your 2024 financial goals. In today's episode, we will be sharing about navigating money in marriages. How comfortable are you when the time comes to talk about money with your spouse? I can guess, like most of us, it's not very likely. According to a recent study on divorces, there are 3 leading causes of divorce, and they are basic incompatibility, which is 43%, infidelity, which is at 28%, and money issues, which is at 22%. In fact, one of the survey respondents said, many couples lack communication skills necessary to navigate financial disagreements in their marriage. The emotional connection of money with safety and security in many people makes the financial disagreements more salient than other disagreements. Another one said, I have long believed financial disagreements to be the most common cause of marital conflict. Most of us don't require evidence to prove that it can be stressful to talk about money with your spouse. We experience it for ourselves often enough to know the truth. My husband and I agree on most things when it comes to managing our finances, but it hasn't stopped us from having some heated conversations from time to time. However, we have come up with a system that helps us to stay on the same page. It works for us because it has helped us define our visions, our values, and financial goals as a couple and as a family. Finding this common ground didn't happen overnight. In fact, it took a while, but it was worth the effort and patience spent to reach the level of teamwork and support we now enjoy. Over the last 1 year, we have learned to embrace several principles to keep our financial conversations on track. And in today's episode, we will be having my husband and my partner as our special guest, just to discuss navigating money in marriages. So I'll give him the opportunity to introduce himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Wilson Brian Kifue, partner to our host. And today we're going to talk about our journey as a couple and as a family, on how we manage our finances and the things that we do together to make it work. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. This episode is inspired by Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 to 11. 2 are better than 1 because they have good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? The one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So, can you introduce us? Who are we? What do we do? And how long have we been married?
So we are the Kifues, and we have been married for more than 4 years, pretty young in marriage.
And together for the last, 7 years and counting. And we are a young growing family of 3.
Our situation has been one where we started off growing in our careers in marketing. We started off with handling our own finances, doing our own thing, and just giving each other roles to play in handling the finances until it came to a point where that was not working out, and now we handle our finances together. So in our journey, we have gone through the lows and lows to now when we're handling finances together. Just a year ago, November last year is when we started doing our money journey together.
We are also involved in teaching the young one as she grows up so that she can be a good steward of the resources God is giving us.
And it has been amazing. It has been life-saving. We have gone through things which, if we had not managed to do this together, will not have managed to come through this whole year. In the journey, we'll talk about it as we continue this podcast.
Okay. Can you share a bit about your background when it comes to money?
My background when it comes to money has always been pragmatic, disciplined, and it's a journey where from home I have seen good money habits being applied. I've seen my parents tracking their money. I've seen them having conversations about money, communicating about money, talking about money in front of us, investing, saving, and even advising us and giving us good money habits in terms of budgeting. I knew how to budget when I was very, very young, given allowance, and also given time to grow with our money to the point where we were also given one of the most important things in an African culture, which sometimes never applied. We were given an Independence Day. Money has been central and it's talked about, and we have learned through practical application, through being given examples, through seeing examples, and through being an example yourself. So when it comes to money, my background has been well taught.
Well, I come from a background where we never talked about money because my parents didn't discuss money openly with us. Of course, for most of the African households, it's his money, our money. I grew up with no attachment to money, and really what that means is that there's no good money habits. That means that I grew up the opposite of my partner. He grew up talking about good money habits. There was central pooling of the resources, and so he was able to see all this. We didn't have any of that. Yeah, that's my background.
So an example about how we handle money in our house. One is that I was given an allowance as soon as I can remember. I think I was even in high school. That's the last time they took me shopping. So from then on, I'd make a list, whatever I wanted. They'd give me the money. And from there, it was up to me to decide what I do with the money. So if I needed a new shirt, I'll go buy a shirt. I'll buy the one which I wanted. If I wanted to buy a Mtumba one, or I could go and buy a Max Spencer. I remember this, you have Max Spencer shirts. And you'd be bowling in school with a Max Spencer shirt. It was expensive, but I had the money. I could choose to buy 5 kgs of sugar and not buy Blue Band. And I'll still go to school with 5 kgs of sugar. It will last me the whole term, but I won't have to borrow sugar from anyone. Others chose to, buy biscuits. How will I buy biscuits? I will save the money. So that is a small money habits I was taught, starting off slowly. By the time I was in university, the allowance was much bigger. I was saving 2,000, which 2K back in the day was a lot of money. I came from a place where money is talked about. You were taught how to handle money, and money is not a taboo. Okay. It's something which you had to learn how to do it, because my parents had this philosophy that they're raising children who are going to be self-sufficient when they leave the house.
How did you initially learn about managing money and personal finances?
Through experience. I remember this one day we came from visiting, and they sat down, opened their laptop, opened Excel, and they started recording all the money they have used on that day. As children, we were busy going to our rooms, busy running around. You want to catch up with your gadgets. And here are our parents in the corner with their laptops recording all the expenditure. And they recorded it in an Excel form. Seeing that in the corner of my eye as I was still young, that's how I learned about money. That is just an example of that. We knew that their money were joint. If I wanted to discuss about money in the house, there was one central person to discuss the money, which was my father. My mom had money, but if you wanted to discuss about money, if you needed money, you go to my dad. Because one thing, my mom was soft. If it was up to her...
She is still soft.
She is still soft, yes. If it was up to her, we will be doing what children usually do. Mm-hmm. You go and ask, and you're told no. You go to the other side and ask, and you'll be told yes. Beats the purpose. But we learned that, money comes from one source. They discussed it. So you can't divide them. You can't go and divide one person against the other. Our parents had a unified front when it came to money.
In my family, The person who was very instrumental in guiding me to use money was my mother. Like, we have that African philosophy that, money was for spending. And the first encounter I had with good money habits was 2016, and Brian and I were just friends. And you keep seeing them, after every purchase, this guy is just doing his Excel. I'm like, okay, wow, this is a new way of doing things. Why is he like tracking his money and doing all that? So I think that was my first lesson. Our first jobs, nothing much going on. You couldn't say it was a lot of money, but I would see, like, he knows per month I use like 6,000 for transport. I use X for rent, X for food, Y for something, and that he had. And I was like, wow.
There's one time when I needed some money, so we went to the ATM. That time we didn't have mobile banking.
Yeah.
And saying as if it's a long time ago. It's just
it
like
is.
2 years
It's been
ago.
almost 8 years now.
So we went to the ATM, and then I'm like, ATM etiquette, you're supposed to wait outside when someone is doing their business. This lady walks in with me to the ATM counter. I'm thinking, hey, okay.
But I was his girlfriend.
Yes, but anyway. So she walks in, I'm doing my transactions. So she looks at my balance. Why do you have 6 figures in savings? I'm like, you don't have savings? It's normal to have this amount of money in savings. How do you live?
Some of us, we earn money to spend it. And that's actually the African culture. So savings is like at the back of your mind. So me meeting this guy with good money habits, he's recording, he's tracking his expenditure. We are almost like 24, 23.
Yeah,
like
that time.
Yeah, at that time. And now we go to the ATM, and then he's like, this flex that I have savings of 6 figures. I think I roughly knew how much he earned at that point. So I didn't expect him to have that much money in the bank. But yeah, that was the first time I encountered good money habits like financial literacy, what budgeting is, somebody who's actually aware of his budgets, of his spending and saving. Fast forward to now the actual formal financial literacy education. After trial and error for a couple of times, getting into debt, like into massive debt, then we decided to enroll into a financial literacy program that is run by Mavuno Church. So from there, we just started our financial literacy journey, and we've been just learning along. And I'm actually happy that Brian has the patience, because normally it's said that it's so difficult to change a habit that has accrued for so long. But he's been patient enough through the whole journey, because for him, growing up with all these good money habits, it was easy for him to actually just continue where he left off. But now for me, it's like a new journey, learning how to be patient, how to be disciplined with it, and how to plan for spending. In your view, what does financial literacy mean, and why is it important?
Financial literacy, the easiest explanation is being a good steward. It is stewardship of the resources which are given by God. So it is taking care of your money. It is learning how to be effective with your money. That is financial literacy. It involves a lot of things, but it all boils down to, is your money working for you and you're not working for money? That is the simplest way I can put it. For your money to work for you, you need to learn how to be good steward of it. You have to take care of it, you have to grow it, you have to nurture it, and at the end of the day, when it grows, it will be able to take care of you. So financial literacy is simply being a good steward of the things you've been given by God.
Financial literacy means awareness of your money. You need to be aware of how much you're earning, how much you're spending, how much is going into your savings, how much you're giving, how much you're investing. When you create the good money habits, it will actually help you understand and evaluate your whole current financial situation. In my previous episode, we went through the stages of financial freedom. And most of the people, like I said on that episode, they're usually stuck between financial dependence and stability. They never grow from those two stages. That's my definition of financial literacy. Understanding your income, understanding your expenses, understanding your liabilities, your investments, and all that. And trying to grow your money so that the money can take care of you later. How do we communicate about money? Communicating about money is very difficult. We have had seasons where I've just had to tell this guy, you know what? Today I cannot talk about money. Not today. And I just want him to take us through. What do we do? How important is communicating with your spouse about money? And do you have any advice for couples navigating financial discussions?
Money is a hot topic. It's something people never want to touch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that is very close to someone's heart.
Yeah.
And therefore, talking about money is not easy. And even for us who have bridged the gap, it is still not easy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
We still have our challenges. But in communicating, I'd start with, you need to know your person, where they're coming from. In money, we have a lot of assumptions. We assume that they know, we assume that they're hearing us, and we assume that I've been raised to the same level that they have been raised.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, because I think one of our challenges was assuming that we come from the same background, had the same experiences that shaped the way we use our money. And it's quite difficult to communicate about money with all these assumptions.
Yes. So when it comes to money, you need to understand the background, where they are coming from. You need to understand their personality. And then you need to keep yourself with methods of communicating. Because you'll find out that you can quickly shut down whenever you want to. Either party can shut down whenever they want to. So effective communication of money sometimes might need you to even discuss your emotions, how you're feeling about money on that day. Like she said, there are days when she doesn't feel like talking about money because the emotions are not even there. Therefore, when you have those two things, when you know the background of where someone is coming from, and when you know the personality of that person when it comes to money, then you can now start discussing about money. And money, because it involves opening up and being vulnerable, means that you also need to find ways of discussing about money in an environment that is safe. Therefore, it means you need to equip yourself with tools to communicate. So at the center of talking about money is communication as a whole. Communication as a couple. How effective is your communication as a married couple? So find out that when you start talking about money, you'll be able to even talk about other things which are not related to money.
Yeah, that is true.
In fact, we veered off topic for almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about other things which are hurting us or which were good to us also. And we learned a lot.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, I'd say that it will be best if you can't find your way through, ask for professional help. You can go for therapy, or even better, you can join a class which teaches about money.
Mm-hmm.
Couples and money is one of the best way to go. Yes.
Yeah. One of the reasons why we decided to walk our financial journey together, which most of the people find it odd, is because we understood the power of unity. Even the Bible itself says that two are better than one because they give a good return for their labor. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. So for us, when we put God, when we put our family, and when we put money together, we understand that we are an immovable force. So that is one of the main reasons why we took it upon ourselves as a challenge to grow ourselves, to learn from our mistakes, and to forge forward. In terms of communicating about money, money brings out emotions, and these emotions are very ugly, especially in situations where one person might feel that they are being attacked or they are being controlled. So most of us don't like to feel like that, especially when you are the one bringing the money to the table, or even if both of you are bringing money to the table. So it is very important to actually look for a safe space that both of you can agree on. And if things get heated, you can also even bring in a third party to help you through. It might be a therapist, it might be a friend or a couple friend, it might also be a family friend who has both of your interests at heart. How do you go about setting and prioritizing your financial goals? So it is new season, it's a new year, and a lot of people are in the process of setting their New Year's goals. And financially speaking, how important is it to set your financial goals? And if you haven't listened to that episode, it premiered on January 1st, so you can find the link down below. Just listen to it and get more insight on the same. But right now, Brian, maybe you can take us through the goal setting, especially in a financial environment. How do you do it as a family, as an individual? Because I understand you have your aspirations. I have my aspirations. We have a child. We also have other projects going on. So how do you set those financial goals to ensure that your 2024 goes on well?
I've had the pleasure of working in a corporate setup for quite a while. And the first thing that corporates do, before they even go to setting goals, they have too many things they have to outline first. Mm-hmm. First is their vision. In any corporate you walk to, they'll always have a vision. Where do they aspire to be? What do they aspire to be? We want to be the best in East Africa. We want to be the best in Kenya. We want to be the best at this. This is our vision. We want to grow to this place. Then, after that, they go to their mission. Basically, it's how they're going to achieve it. So, you can use the same strategy for our goals. Just because the earth has gone around the sun and now it's a new year, you sit down and you say, now, it's time for me to write new goals. You have no vision for those goals. You have no mission for those goals. You have no core values attached to those goals. So the first thing before you even start planning about goals, you need to start talk about your vision. What do you want to see yourself in the next 1 year? If you're planning for 1 year, what do you want to achieve in that 1 year? How do you want to look like at the end of that year? Your mission, how do you want to go about it? Your core values, what will help you achieve that goal? When those 3 things are aligned, then you can go and apply your goals. You can use a SMART strategy. But basically, before you apply goals, you must start with those 3 things. First, you must agree what is your vision, where do you want to be, what is your mission, how will you achieve it, and what are your core values, things that are going to help you stick to your goals. Once those 3 things are aligned, you can go ahead and plan your goals. They will make sense. Financially speaking, the next thing after you have gone through that, to even go to your goals, you'll have to do a financial report card. This is where most people are terrified. A financial report card involves you having to identify 2 main areas. Your income versus expense, your asset versus liabilities. Simply speaking, it's what you call a balance sheet. Gotten from Robert Kiyosaki's book, we always have this simple diagram about income, assets, liabilities, expense in a square. Their cash flow. Yes, so once you understand how your money is flowing is when you can now start playing for your goals. So income versus expense is simple. Are you spending more than you're earning? Or are you spending less of what you're earning? Is in terms of what is bringing you money. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money away from your pocket. And therefore, once you publish a financial report card, you'll be able to know again where your financial health is. Whenever you're sick, and you will complain, I have back pain, and the doctor, the first thing he'll say is you have to go to do lab work. We have to know what is wrong. That involves you going and getting numbers. You go to the lab, they draw some blood, and then they check all the numbers. Your numbers are looking like this. This is the good numbers, this is the bad numbers. We know what the problem is. So in understanding money, you need to also understand numbers. If you can't understand numbers, you can't understand money, and you can't understand financial literacy. The language of money is numbers. If you don't understand numbers, then you're going to be in trouble. Don't even plan, don't do goals. First, understand numbers. So first, do your vision, do your mission, core values. Secondly, do your report card, financial report card, which involves doing 2 things. Knowing your income versus expense. And lastly, knowing your assets versus liabilities, which is also equaling to your net worth, knowing your net worth. Then now you can proceed to planning your goals.
All right. we have facilitated a couple of classes with different couples on how to navigate through money in marriage. And one of the things that Brian insists on is identifying your needs, your wants, and the third thing is musts. So there is wants, there is needs, and there is must. So maybe you can take us through so that you can understand what is a must, what is a need, and what is a want.
So whenever you're talking about those three things, we are at point number 2 where you're talking about a financial report card.
Yeah.
This is the card where, whenever we were still young, to bring our report cards from school. Some of us were mailed our cards, but basically financial report card involves talking about the three things, which is a must, a want, a need. So the first point is musts. Musts are the financial requirements which you need to fulfill. Otherwise, you'll face immediate and terrifying consequences.
For example, like rent is
Rent
a must.
is a must.
Yeah.
Paying off your loans actually
Is a must.
is one of the biggest musts.
Yeah.
Musts are things which are not flexible. These are requirements which you have put consent on and they can't be changed easily. They require you to either sign again or something against it, and it's something which you are required to do. Otherwise, there is immediate consequences. If you don't pay off your loan, first thing is CRB.
Yeah.
If you don't pay off a loan for long, they'll come for your things.
Yeah.
So that is a must. There's immediate consequences behind it. For your needs, what I'd say is your daily requirements. This is one of the places where you can actually start to cut down. Whenever you're talking about must, you can't really cut down. You can't say that today, the loan I have, I'll pay half of it instead of paying the full principal. I'll pay half of it and then I'll just continue walking around as if everything is okay. But in your needs, we have things like transport, we have things like food, we have things which are necessary for you to live as a human being in this society. But at some point also, there are things which you can kind of work around. Transport, if the matatu is coming saying 100, you can wait for the one which is coming saying 80. At least 20 shillings off.
Yeah.
If it's electricity, instead of you putting 1,000 bob worth of units and spreading it the way you want, you will start switching off lights whenever you're in the house. So those are your needs. Your needs are things which you need to live by.
So there is wants, there is needs, and there is must.
Yes. So let me get to the last one, which is wants. Wants are things which are not necessary.
Basically like luxury.
Luxury is a nice way of putting it. It is things which you can do without. These are lifestyle choices.
Lifestyle choices, yeah.
And these are things which are the easiest place to trim off your report card. If a report card is not making sense, financial report card, your income and expense are out of balance, this is the first place you're supposed to start to cut. Lifestyle choices here means doing things which are not necessary for you to survive in this society. You don't need to go to movies every single weekend. Drinking, those are wants. Things which you can live without, but you choose to go after.
Yes.
So those are your wants. You want them. Simple as that.
So how do you take care of these three? Like between the needs, the must, and the wants. Which one do you prioritize? Which one do you leave behind? Which one do you give a maybe?
So in order of priority is you take care of your must, you minimize your needs, and you get rid of your wants.
How would you describe your mindset currently about money, and how has it evolved over time? Has yours really evolved over time?
Yes, it has evolved over time.
Yeah.
Actually, my mindset about money, just when I finished university and I started my first job, was all about saving. I didn't know anything else. I think for most of my life, I've always been fearful of not having money in my account. So I'm a hoarder. I like seeing money in my account. I like saving. I like knowing that I have a backup of a backup of a backup. Before I moved out of my parents' house, I had saved, like I said, I had 6 figures worth of savings. It was because I was terrified of moving out and finding out that, I needed to buy gas and I don't have money. What if I go to my new place and I can't pay rent for the next 6 months? What if I'm going to my new place and I can't eat? A day of hunger because I don't have money. No way. So I like to save.
Yeah.
Saving is my backbone. It's what I fear most, not having money.
Yeah, and God works in mysterious ways because this guy married a spender. I love spending. Oh, I can spend.
Yes.
And I really have no attachment to money. So when he says he's a hoarder and I'm a spender, you kind of know that at some point we normally disagree on our money.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not so much nowadays.
Right now it's contained,
It's contained
because we have a vision, we have a goal. Like, I might be disciplined for like almost a month, and then just that one Saturday that comes along and I'm like, go out there and just spend, and I come back home feeling so horrible. He'll just be like, okay, you tried, it's okay, we'll try again. So that is very commendable. So yes, we meet each other halfway. Yeah.
Yes. So my mindset has changed from that. I'm more flexible. I was reading The Psychology of Money, and one of the biggest takeaway from that book was that you can either choose to sleep happy, or you can either choose to sleep when you are worried. So one of the biggest takeaways is you can't have both. You need to choose either or. And that means you sometimes need to let go. For someone who's like me, I'm very tight-fisted about money. But I learned you need to also let go. In order to be happy, you need to let go. So that's why I have this leeway nowadays. I'll not be like, things need to be done like this. No. You can choose to be happy and let go a little bit and still be happy. So you don't need to have both. So before I'd be like, money is like this. Stick to this pathway. Do not deviate.
And he can be strict.
Yes, do
My
not
goodness,
deviate.
he can. Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays, it's flexibility. You need to let go once in a while in order to enjoy this life.
Yeah, opposites usually attract. Yeah. One of the changes that I've had to adjust to is discipline. Like, he normally tells me that aspect of, I want this thing right now and I have to have it, and I go ahead and buy it. I have really been trying to teach myself that the delayed gratification, it's a good thing to have an accountability partner, especially in marriage. And I think that is one of the things in marriage that we don't appreciate, the accountability partner. Most of the time, I think I've tried several times with my best friend to be each other's accountability partner. But once we set goals, 2 or 3 months down the lane, we just come and we give excuses and we say, it didn't work because of ABCD, or yes, I achieved, but then, something came up. But now in marriage, when you agree and you work towards that goal, there's no going back. So if it is land that you want to buy and you agree, you just have to. So for me, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of self-awareness to understand that I'm not only doing this for myself, but I have a goal. I need to grow. I need to be financially secure. And there's somebody I'm accountable to as well. So I can't go on spending sprees for money that you have not budgeted for an allocation that you have not given to a certain purpose. So yeah, that's my change in mindset, that I have to be more disciplined in this season. Yeah. Are there any books, podcasts, or any other resources in particular that you would recommend for a couple who are interested in starting their financial literacy journey?
Yes, the best place to start is Couples and Money. It's a financial course by Mavuno Church. It's a paid course. Things which are free financially don't really sting you as much. So it's a paid course. Whenever you pay for something, you actually get to cherish it more. That's why it's not free. And secondly, that's why we started our journey. And I'd just like to say that I was one who came kicking. I didn't want to go.
Yeah,
because
I remember.
Coming from good financial background, I thought I know everything, But now you learn that, do you handle finances as an accountant? Do you handle finances as an auditor? you're not going to audit your family. There are things which your family needs which you can't remove in a corporate sense.
Yeah.
And
there are also responsibilities that you cannot give to another person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here in the family, you can't just grab whatever you learned in school and just plop it into the family setting. So the best place to start will be couples and money. Yes.
And what I love about this program, and this is not an ad, is the fact that they give you an opportunity to talk about money as a couple. They don't get to tell you what has worked for them or what is cast on stone. You sit down with your family, with your spouse, and you get to make decisions that are best for you, that are tailor-made for you. They'll just show you the ropes. They tell you this is how to communicate in marriage about money. This is how to make good money habits. But it is up to you to pick up what works for you and you discard the rest. So that is quite a good program that we actually advocate for.
Yes.
Yeah. And then secondly, there are a lot of books about money that are out there. You can just start with the most basic ones like Rich Dad, Poor Dad to just understand how money works. Because one of the things that I figured out, even in doing the other episodes on finances, is that people don't even know how money works.
Yeah.
So they don't know your income. What is it supposed to do? Are you just supposed to spend it? Are you supposed to spend it on expenses or on liabilities? Are you supposed to invest? And if you're supposed to invest, where are you going to invest? How are you supposed to give? Is there any rule that governs all this? So there are books that can actually give you all that knowledge that you require to start with. And even if you're not married or you're preparing to get married, it's still applicable. Yeah. You can also learn through wealth managers. There are so many people out here who are doing financial education. You can also learn through them.
And lastly, also you can learn from a family friend or even uncles and aunts who have good money habits. I'm sure whenever you sit down and look around in your circle of friends, in your circle of family, you'll never miss one or two uncles, even if it's your parents maybe, who have good money habits. I'm not talking about being rich. I'm talking about good money habits. There's a very big difference. The people who are wealthy and they are rich, but they are fighting internally. You can see that there are issues. But you can always identify someone who has good money habits. And whenever you can identify those people, it's good if you can sit down with them and inquire how they're going about it. Yeah. So apart from all those things you have listed, if all of those fails, try and look for someone. The thing about financial literacy is you must be willing to learn. And like I said, at the end of the day, you must be willing to understand numbers. Numbers is the language of finance.
And it's funny that you say that you have to be willing to learn, because I think the most difficult education is the one about money. Like nothing about money is easy.
Yes.
The Bible even says that money is a good servant, but a very bad master.
Yeah.
So depending on your take and your mindset, it can either work for you or work against you. And even going out there to start your financial literacy journey, you have to give yourself even grace to do it, because many are the times that you will fail and you'll feel like this thing is not working. But when you recognize the good rewards that are going to come, then you just keep doing it and you keep reading and you keep acquiring all this information, all these good habits, the investments, then you're going to reap very big in a very short time to come.
And financial literacy does not end. It is ongoing.
Yeah.
It is forever going. You never finish.
Yeah.
We keep learning new things every single day. Yes, and it's something we enjoy. So financial literacy is not a course you'll do and you say that I'm ready. It's you keep improving and you keep learning every single time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, the times keep changing. Like you might be in debt right now, and then you'll get out of debt. Then you'll have extra money to spend. So are you going to spend it? Are you going to invest it? You know?
Yeah.
Then you go to another season when maybe now you have expanded your family. You know? That is extra responsibility.
Yes.
And one of the things is that you cannot literally exist without money.
Yeah.
To move from point A to B, simply to even exist, you need money. You need shelter that requires money. You need heat, energy. You know, you have to pay for KPLC. you have to eat, and that requires money.
Yeah.
So you cannot ignore financial literacy. As much as young people, we'd like to say, I just don't want to be bothered with money and things like that.
Yeah.
Then
money is for old people.
It is critical. Yeah, exactly.
It's something you need to learn. And the earlier you learn it, the better.
Yes. All right. Final parting shot to our listeners.
So thank you for having me today. And we'll be talking much deeper stories as we go on.
Yes, as we figure our thought, and this was just an introductory episode. We really talk a lot about money within our family setup, and we really enjoy it. So you can be sure that you will get to hear and have Brian around for so many episodes to come.
Thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. And before we end, I'd like to pray for us. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we lift up the financial aspects of our marriages. You're the ultimate provider, and we acknowledge that every resource we have comes from you. Lord, bless our efforts in managing and stewarding our finances within our marriages. Grant us the wisdom to make sound financial decisions and the disciplines to live within our means. Help us to prioritize our spending so that it aligns with your will and contribute to the well-being of our families. We pray for unity in financial matters, Lord. May we communicate openly and honestly about our financial goals, dreams, and challenges. Strengthen our bonds of trust between us that we may face financial decisions as a united front. Lord, in times of abundance, teach us gratitude and humility. In times of scarcity, instill in us resilience and faith. Help us to lean on you during financial uncertainties, trusting that you are our ever-present help in times of trouble. Father, we pray for contentment in our hearts. May we find joy in the blessings you've provided and resist temptation of materialism. Guide us in our desires, align them with your purpose for our lives. As we navigate the complexities of budgeting, saving, and investing, may your wisdom be our guide. Open our eyes to opportunities for financial growth and bless the work of our hands. Lord, we surrender our financial worries and burdens to you. Your word assures us that you are our shepherd and we shall not want. We trust in your provision and seek your guidance in all financial matters. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. If you have enjoyed this conversation, don't keep it to yourself. Give us a thumbs up, share the love, and hit that subscribe button across all our social media platforms at The Guard Your Heart Show. Remember to tune in on every 1st, 10th, and 20th of every month for fresh insights. More inspiring episodes to come as we dive deep into the world of financial literacy and personal growth. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye.